Welcome to my channel. My name is Eric the James. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm at the Christmas Story House. It's one of my favorite places, one of my favorite movies. Today we're going to go on the museum tour, we're going to go on the house tour, and we're going to go on the gift shop tour. If you look behind me, there's the Bumpus' house. I will take some pictures and some video of that. But come along and join me. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to be doing random videos all over, and if you like them, share them. This is the outside. We're here a little early, about an hour, and we're going to be, before they open up. Here's some of the backyard. I heard that the shed is original, just moved around. I think the shed was over in that direction. I'm gonna try and get some outside shots now while I can, and there's nobody here. Here's the door. One of the where the old man parked his car. Here's the front of the house. Here's the mailbox where Ralphie got his decoder pin. I believe in the movie it was over on this side though. Here's the front, and here's the iconic lake, the lamp. The dad loved his award. If you were to rent, which books out quite often or quite early, you would come in this door, you would have access to it, and it's upstairs. You've got the upstairs. A YouTuber named Adam the Woo rented it out. I can't remember much about it, but you go up the stairs and there's a whole apartment up there. And this is the backyard where Ralphie shot the bad guys protecting Black Bart. Shed there. I heard it was over there originally. Guy found this house on eBay and rebuilt it. And turned it into this wonderful museum.
Your tour guide for the next 45 minutes or so. We're going to start, and I'm going to give you guys some fun facts about how the movie came together. And when I'm done talking, then you'll have the opportunity to walk around, explore, take all the pictures you want. I will also be here to help assist in taking any pictures if you need a hand. From the house, we'll go out to the backyard, and from the backyard, we'll head over to the museum. Sound good? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, first and foremost, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All right, so how many of us seen the movie? Okay. How many of us love the movie? Okay. How many of us were forced into loving this movie from watching it for a 24-hour time period on television? That's how I became a huge fan, and now it's a tradition in our homes, right? Now we keep it on. All right, guys, so kind of how this movie came together. There was a gentleman by the name of Jean Shepherd. Now, Jean Shepherd grew up in the 1930s and 40s in Hammond, Indiana. This movie is supposed to be based out of Hammond, Indiana, 1930s and 40s. Now, Mr. Shepherd is also the narrating voice behind the movie. Now, Mr. Shepherd started his career as a radio broadcaster, then he went on to become an author. And one of the books he is most famous for is called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, kind of where the story originated from. Now, the director of this film, his name is Bob Clark. Bob Clark is known for a lot of B-rated horror films, and some of you guys might have also heard of a film named Porky's. Yeah, he directed that as well, all right. So Bob Clark was living in Miami, Florida at the time, and he was on his way to pick up a date. And he happened to be listening to one of Mr. Shepherd's radio broadcasts. And this broadcast was about a gentleman named Flick, and Flick getting his tongue stuck to a flagpole. Sound familiar? All right. So immediately his directive created mind started going. He was like, oh my gosh, I got a movie in the making. I was told he did not pick up his date. Instead, he contacts Mr. Shepard and they collaborate and they come up with this great A Christmas Story movie for us. All right, so now they need some funding. So they contact MGM Studios. MGM Studios gives them a budget of $2.5 million. They also made a deal with Mr. Bob Clark. We will give you this funding if you give us the Porky's 2. Bob Clark is like, sold. So the money that he made from Porky's 2, he used for the rest of the funding of A Christmas Story movie. So now they needed to establish some locations. And Mr. Shepard was really big on wanting to keep this, in a steel mill town, 1930s and 40s. And they had two primary objectives, one being a steel mill town, two being that they were looking for a department store that was willing to leave up Christmas decorations after season, as well as allowing film crews to come in and do some filming, if need be after season. So they put together a crew, they scouted 20 locations. Out of those 20 locations, only one department store reached back out to them. Does anybody know the name of that department store?
Higbee's.
You're absolutely right. Winter meatloaf and mashed potatoes for dinner. It was Higbee's department store. Higbee's is now known as the Jack Casino, which is located here in downtown Cleveland. So they go and they scout Higbee's. Everything is perfect about that store. They still have toys from the 1930s and 40s in the front window that they could use for filming. As they step outside of Higbee's, they have Public Square right there, which is going to be perfect for them to do the parade scene. And as they're leaving Public Square, they see some smoke from a steel mill stack. Meant to be, right? So they decide to follow this smoke in hopes that it leads them into a neighborhood, a house of some sort, where they could have the steel mill in the backdrop. So they're driving around, they end up getting lost, and they make a wrong turn, which leads them to come right here down Raleigh Avenue. So they're driving down Raleigh Avenue, stop at this T intersection. The crew is like, oh my goodness, lo and behold, what is sitting in front of them? This house right here, it's 1930s, it's 1983. This house is completely outdated, still looking like it's from the 1930s and 40s. As the crew is scouting the exterior portions of the house, they're like, oh my gosh, Cleveland Street's gonna be perfect for the boys to walk to and from school. They have the empty lot next door where they can store all their filming equipment. The backyard's gonna be perfect for Ralphie to shoot his eye out. And the front porch is big enough for Dad to bring in his major award. So we're like, all right, we got to figure out who the owner of this house is, see if we can film a movie here. So they knock on the door. Nobody answers. They're like, shucks, now what are we gonna do? So the crew looks across the street and they see the Raleigh Inn. The Raleigh Inn has been open since 1906 and is still going strong today. So they decide to go over to the Raleigh Inn, have some drinks, do some talking with some people, see if they can figure out who the owner of the house is. So as they're over there chatting, lo and behold, guess who's sitting next to him? The owner of the house. His name was John. John was a steel mill worker, just got off work. He's trying to relax, have a few drinks. Then he's being bothered by these Hollywood people. So they're like, Mr. John, can we film a movie in your house? Mr. John's like, no. No, you cannot. He was not about the Hollywood people snooping around his home. So the crew decides to offer him a couple rounds of drinks. And $20,000 later, Mr. John gladly agrees to allow them to come and do some filming in his home. Now I get asked a lot, like what all scenes were actually filmed in, the house. All the exterior scenes that the house was featured in, those were filmed here. Now the house, in 1983, production equipment was really big. The inside is pretty small. So only some scenes were filmed inside of the house. And you'll know that when you were watching the movie and you're looking out the windows and you see all of that background just like you do now, you'll know those scenes were filmed inside of the house. But if you're looking in the window and they're kind of just bright, a little cloudy, you'll know those were done on an MGM sound stage. And Bob Clark had connections in Canada, which led them to do some filming in Canada as well. All right? So, other than popcorn, you can't have a movie without actors, which brings me here to the infamous Hall of Fame. We have Ian Petrella, who plays Randy. Now, he was one of 100 actors to audition for this role, but Bob Clark was sold by the way he smashed his face into a dinner plate of food and for his iconic laugh. Then we have Mr. Billingsley, who plays Ralphie. Now, he was the first to audition out of 8,000 actors. And although Bob Clark knew that he was the one for the role, he still wanted to audition all 8,000 just to make sure. And well, we see who got that. Then we have Miss Melinda Dillon, who plays Miss Parker, the mother. Now, she did not need to audition. Bob Clark actually offered her the role, and she gladly accepted. And then we have Mr. Darren McGavin, who plays Mr. Parker, the old man. Now, he was not the first choice for this movie. It's 1983. Does anybody want to take a guess at maybe who else they had in mind?
Jack Nicholson.
You're absolutely right, sir. It was Jack Nicholson. And at this time, Jack Nicholson had just got done filming The Shining. MGM Studios thought it was going to be too much of a transition, going from such an intense role into an enduring father figure. And if you're Randy and you're hiding under the kitchen sink and you're going, Daddy's gonna kill Ralphie! And you got Jack Nicholson open up those cupboard doors going, well, here's Johnny. It's just not gonna make for a humble Christmas story, right? So MGM Studios suggested Darren McGavin, and well, we couldn't picture that any other way. Did a great job, right? All right, guys, so in 2004, this house ended up being up for sale. It was listed on eBay. The mastermind of recreating this for us, Mr. Brian Jones, was a super huge fan. He actually started making Red Ryder leg lamps in his basement. But came across it, purchased this house sight unseen. The moment that he walked through that front door, he was like a kid in a candy store. He started reenacting scenes, just having a good time in here, right? So they completely did renovations on this house to make it look just like it did in the movie and on the sound stage. He wanted you guys to come in here and just have a good time. So with that being said, this house is completely interactive. If you want to pick up that BB gun and shoot your eye out, go for it. If you want to grow up that leg lamp in the window, by all means go ahead. I am not here to judge you. I am here to help you take pictures. If you want to pick up that leg in that fragile crate and strike a pose, have at it. If you want to be like Randy and get under the kitchen sink, I'll be here to try to help get you back out of that kitchen sink. When you go upstairs, there's a phone at the top of the staircase. Feel free to pick it up. You might hear a sweet little message. Now, when you guys do make it upstairs, there's just 3 rules. 1, we ask that you please do not sit on the boys' beds. 2, there's a chained off room with a bunch of antiques. Just don't go past the chain. And 3, if you happen to say the words "oh fudge," please do not put the Lifebuoy soap in your mouth. You might get soap poisoning. All right? All right, guys, we've got about 15 minutes. This time is yours. The next 15 minutes, we'll meet back here in 15 minutes, and then we'll head on to the next part of the tour. Thank you.
All right, let's look around some pictures. Can you stand next to it on your picture? Look at me, Matt. Here's the upstairs. Here's the phone. Sorry I didn't do much talking, but the lady was giving a wonderful presentation. I recommend it to anybody. One of my other favorite movies, The Wizard of Oz. Some of the classics. Alice in Wonderland. Opuses. Can pause that and read that if you would like. There's this box. I'm gonna ride a BB gun. See outside, we're going to the museum in a little bit. There's the antique room she was talking about, a bunch of antiques. I believe that leads to the apartment. Here's the toilet. Lifebuoy soap. Old man shaving here. Say hi. So toilets. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Not in this house, but all the actual property over the museum.
I think this is where like the apartment comes in, so you can come anytime.
Oh,
See the scan? That's what I think. Don't quote me on it, but with the scan, that makes, because I know it's up, the apartment's up. It's got movies and TV. Edit this out. Little kids I don't want to put on there. The old man's hat. Radio. They need a Zeppelin. There's the iconic turkey. There's Randy's spot, and that's the inside of the house. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe.
Window right here. So, but during renovations, they kind of boarded that up to make a downstairs bathroom for the loft guests that were staying upstairs. But when there was a kitchen window, the scene where Ralphie was defending his family against the Black Bar Gang, that was shot here. The shed, that's the original shed featured in the movie that the Black Bar Gang was trying to jump over. And then here, right in this area, well, that's where Ralphie almost shoots his eye out. And then you'll notice the iconic steel mill over the fence that helped actually leading the film crews to discovering this location. That's pretty much it for the backyard, guys. If you want to walk around and take some pictures, that's fine. In a few minutes, we'll meet over here at this bench and then we'll head over to